You've announced plans to build India's first AI chips by 2026. So, congratulations about that. I wanted to ask you, considering that you would be taking on deep pocketed rivals now, the likes of NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, Apple, and these are well established players, what are your specific plans on building the first made in India AI chip? What kind of investments would go into it? Where would these be manufactured? What kind of capacities are you looking at? And more importantly, what would be the application for these chips? Would they be used within the Ola universe of offerings, your Ola electric scooters and Roadster series of bikes? Or are you also looking at, perhaps supplying these chips to other Indian EV players and global brands as well?
Again, let me set some context for Kritrim for your viewers. The reason we set up Kritrim in late last year, about 7-8 months ago, was there's a global technology transition happening with AI. And AI is a very important technology of the future. And we in India need to lead this journey. But if you look at the current state, I think we are still adopters of somebody else's technology paradigms, especially in the digital world. If I give you some interesting themes, right? India is the largest country in the world by population. We are one of the biggest users of mobile data. We produce 20% of the world's digital data. Because हम लोग ही इतने सारे हैं और we are also younger population, so we also are more producers of data versus more aged population. But our data is not owned by us. Our data is owned by technology platforms. It's not even stored in India. It's stored outside India. And it's processed over there into AI. What is AI? AI is processed data. It's processed into AI and brought back into India and sold to us in dollars, right? Now, remove the industry and AI and all, ये हमारे साथ पहले हो चुका है. So we don't want a repeat of this, right? And I am a firm believer in private enterprise through the power of innovation, changing the trajectory of industries. Government supports and government provides a platform, government provides an enabling framework like they've done in EVs and energy and all. But fundamentally, private enterprise and innovators have to do their bit. And that's where AI provides us that discontinuity in the technology run to come in with a new paradigm. Now, and that's what we at Kritrim want to do. So if you look at the future of compute, we want to build India stack leveraging some of India's strengths. Now, what are India's strengths? India has the largest data in the world, but we are not using that data to build Indian products. We want to do that. So one of the things in Kritrim is to build AI models on Indian data, which is more attuned to Indian use cases, Indian paradigms. So we launched our first model late last year, the Kritrim 7 billion parameter model. It's done well as a first model. People at that time were comparing it to GPT-4, and GPT-4 तक पहुंचने में हमें 2-3 साल लगेंगे, right? But it's a first step in that direction. Then India has the largest developer population in the world. India has, maybe 20 million developers and IT services professionals. India has the largest IT services professionals population in the world. But we don't have the largest product companies in the world. Why is that? If you look at the cost structure of a developer, and I've been all my businesses are in the software world. So we are big customers for these cloud companies like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. They are charging again in dollars and a very exorbitant price which Indian developers can't pay. Now, hence the second layer of the Kritrim stack. First is AI models for India. Second layer is a cloud platform for India, which Indian developers can use more relevant cost structures for India and more relevant APIs and services for India. And they can use to build their own products. And in that layer, we've already announced many services. Our Maps product is in that layer. Developers are using our Maps product at a much lower cost, much more relevant data set versus Google Maps. We've launched some AI services on 15th August. So that's in the layer of cloud. Then the third layer is the silicon layer. Again, a unique irony, like we say, every diamond passes through Surat. Every chip in the world passes through India, not physically, but design-wise. Every chip has some design happening in India, but we have no Indian chip. We have the largest number of silicon designers in the world in India, chip designers in the world, but there is no Indian chip. It's quite ironical, right? Largest data, but no Indian AI. Largest developers, but no Indian cloud. Largest silicon designers, but no Indian chip. Right? So hence, we have decided to build our own chip. And the chip will be an AI chip as well as a general purpose CPU. It will be two different chips. Making a chip is a moonshot. So it is a moonshot. I called it a moonshot on that event. But we want to go for it. It is a risky endeavor. But we believe we can do it. We have the technology strength. We have built a very strong team. Again, leveraging India's strength of talent. We've built a very strong team. And an advantage of our business model would be it's a vertically integrated business model. We are making our own AI on our own cloud, on our own chip. Unlike NVIDIA, which needs to sell chips to others, we will be using our own chip in our own workloads. So in that sense, we will not have the burden of making sure it is working on the CUDA software, etc., because it's for our vertical integration in the beginning. Eventually, we will be offering our chips to other players who want to buy it, whether for their vehicles, whether for their own clouds, whether for their own applications, whatever, right? So that's the journey, that's the philosophy. It is a moonshot. 2026, the first Bodhi 1 comes out. 2028, Bodhi 2 comes out. You asked some deeper questions on where we will manufacture the chip. So we will not be setting up a fab. We will work with the global foundries like Taiwan ecosystem or the Korean ecosystem or even the American ecosystem and figure out the right partner. We are in conversations. We haven't finalized yet. Hopefully somebody puts up a cutting edge fab in India and we'll be happy to use it.
Why is it so difficult to make a chip and what are the challenges?
On the design side, the challenges is firstly, it's very talent intense. So you need high quality of talent. Then you need a lot of ecosystem support in terms of tools. Many of these tools are costly. Many of these tools require, again, expertise, talent to use. Then you need a lot of deep testing. Again, fundamentally, the answer is talent.
I think many Indians will be offended if we told them that we lack talent.
Actually, not at all. India has all the talent, but they're not in Indian companies. Right? So Intel's biggest office outside of the US, I think, is in India. NVIDIA has a huge presence in India. Qualcomm has a huge presence in India. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just leveraging Indian talent. Right? So my message is not at all that we lack. We actually have all the talent. The biggest, like I said in my opening remarks, we have the largest silicon designer base in the world, but they're not working on an Indian chip. So my job is actually just to get them together. I don't know how to design a chip. Making a chip, design of the chip is fairly costly. That's the other challenge. It requires talent, it requires capital, and it requires a certain, traditionally Indian companies are not very R&D centric. We are very shy of investing into R&D. We understand investing into manufacturing capacities, we understand investing into distribution, but we don't fully, as an ecosystem, understand R&D investments. So that's why some of these investments, while in absolute it's not big for Indian groups, but it's a little bit of an unknown, right? So people hesitate from doing R&D and technology investments.